Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today I'm going to be teaching you on how to improve your braking style within MotoGP 23. On the right hand side of the screen I will have my controller overlay, but for the majority of this video I'm just going to be giving you tips, tricks and pointers on how to improve the braking and how to improve the stability and feeling of entering corners. We're going to look at some harder braking zones, some softer braking zones, and some opportunities of just full laps so you can see how to manipulate the controller and how to use the brake effectively. On screen you will see my PS4 controller overlay. For reference, I'm actually using a PS5 controller on PC, but these are the buttons I'm using for each individual input. Feel free to pause the video so you can take a look at those in depth and also customize them to how you want to use them, but those are my inputs for this video so you can understand what I'm using. Now the goal of today's video is to improve your braking, but I would also like to teach you a bit about the brakes and to help you understand which brake discs work best for you, because of course we do have two inputs available here in MotoGP 23, the front brake and the rear brake. But first we're going to start off with the front brake, and it's important to know that this front brake does 80 to 90% of the work, so we need to be choosing a disc that works best for us. Now it's important to know that you cannot use every brake disc at every track. They are issued from MotoGP to certain races, so here an example, here in the Austrian GP we only have the 2 brake discs available, but if we go somewhere else such as the Argentina GP we have 4 brake discs available. Now it's very important to know which brake disc does what, and it gives you a good indication of which brake discs are issued at which track. So for example, the Red Bull Ring of Austria is infamous for being a very late, heavy braking track. Going from 200 plus miles an hour down to about 60 or maybe even less, you do need a rather large brake disc. Now on the flip side, if you're looking for a brake disc that will help you with tracks such as Misano, Sachsenring or Silverstone, tight, twisting, flowing sections of track, then I would probably look towards the bottom 2 brake discs. Now the difference here with these 2 brake discs is that they are lighter, which will give you a more agile feel on the front, but won't have the same stopping power as the 2 brake discs above. Hence the reason they're not allowed in certain tracks like the Red Bull Ring of Austria. Now of course every track has a combination of the things we've mentioned, such as hard braking zones, tight and twisting sections and flowing sections. So my advice to you would be to try every single disc here and figure out which one works best for you. Unfortunately there is no secret, there's no hidden logic on which one works best for every single track, it's just a matter of preference. Personally for me, I use the top one more than anything else. But moving on to the rear brake, I haven't really got much to say about this. I think they both work very much the same. It's all just about the heating and cooling. The rear tyre never for me really gets that hot. I might press it a few times as you'll see in the video as we go, but for now just use the 8-inch, but if you do find something that works for you, let me know in the comment section down below. Now for the most important part about learning about the braking. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I am using the PS5 controller with the PS4 controller overlay. That's simply just so you can see the inputs quite clearly. And there's something I want you to notice about the braking in particular. It's never pressed to a full 100%. It might get close, 80 to 90%, but the brake is never pressed aggressively or abruptly. It's very important to know and understand that you can brake nice and gentle and calmly into these corners. Also in MotoGP 23 there is a lot of trail braking now, so if you're going into a corner quite deep, you can go a little bit firmer upon the front brake. Now if you're coming from a car background, then unfortunately this is going to be a difficult learning curve for you, because you cannot take the lines and the braking markers you're used to when playing car games. So my piece of advice for you to be there is to brake much earlier than you think. If you think it would work for a car, it doesn't work for a bike. So you've got to ensure that you're braking nice and early and also turning in gradually to move the rider's way in. You can see with the left analog stick and how the position of the controller is being pushed. It's pushing backwards when into the hard braking zones, which will lift the rider's weight upwards and push it to the back of the seat, therefore that when you go hard on the brakes, the bike isn't wanting to lift forwards and to start doing a stop or an endo. Now I appreciate that can be somewhat alien, and this is going to take time. This is not just an easy fix that's going to fix all of your problems in one session. You are going to have to spend time and to learn how to handle a controller the correct way. Being gentle, smooth and precise is how you want to be tackling MotoGP 23. That applies to acceleration as well, but we will get to that in a future video. But for now we are focusing precisely on the braking. It goes hand in hand with the left analog stick. If you're smooth, you're pointing in the direction you want to be going, you're turning in at the right speed, your braking will come naturally. So a lot of these clips that I'm showing you here is just gentle braking. Very rarely you're going to see me just slam on the brakes and hope for the best. It's all very calculated and controlled. Whether you're starting in MotoGP or Moto3, everything that I've said there still applies here. Going down into the most difficult part of Portimao, here in the Primera corner, still gentle braking. Downshifting to the correct gear and just being relaxed. In previous MotoGP games you are able to downshift abruptly and go down to first. Here in MotoGP 23 that's not the case. You need to be gradual with your gears, but honestly, if you're a beginner, leave the gears for now and just focus on learning the brakes. There's no shame in going on semi-automatic. I used to use it all the time. So now here on the brakes for the Tour VIP, again a prime example. You tell me when you see that brake go to full 100%. And once again, to recap, the brake is the L2 button and the rear brake is the square. Very relaxed going into turn 7, and here for Samsung corner for turn 8, very close to 100%, but it never reaches it. Now don't get me wrong, there is times and places where you can use 100% of the brake, but those are few and far between. The only real locations are flat circuits such as Valencia, Misano, and sometimes Qatar as well. Any track with a sense of undulation, so whether that's an incline or decline, do not press 100% on the brake because you will crash. There's no way the front will hold and you will drop the front. Also, the issue with braking at 100% is the front brake will lock. When that front brake locks, you cannot turn the bike, so therefore you are going to go wide or potentially off the circuit if you're still holding onto the brake. The way to combat that is to brake a little bit less and still have the ability to turn the bike when needed. So for the final part of the video, I would like to take you here in Mugello with Marc Marquez. The goal will be for you to see how all of this inputs with the controller works whilst doing a couple of laps in practice as well. Now of course guys, if this video has been helpful so far, then I would like you to hit that subscribe button. I'm on the push for 8k subscribers and I would appreciate the assistance, and of course I've still got a lot more guides coming very soon, so I can still help you further into the future. But for now, we are focusing here in Marc Marquez with the DualShock 5 or DualSense controller and the controller overlay to the right. Now you may or may want to watch this a couple of times so you can see how the bike is handling with the inputs that I'm using. If you've forgotten what the controls I'm using, you can go back to the beginning of the video to see my overlay to see how I've got my controller set up. Now it's very important to know that a lot of these tracks do really take advantage of trail braking. So going into corners such as Arrabbiata 2 right there, we're still able to trail brake to turn the bike in. And by hitting the brake ever so slightly and gently like we have been doing into the left-hander here for Pelagio or for Arrabbiata 1 and 2, it will reduce that understeer, but it will also reduce your speed. So if you're finding that you're going a bit too aggressively, you can just hit the brake just enough to slow you down. Of course, if you do hit 100% of the brake, you're probably going to lose the front because, as I mentioned earlier, the brakes will lock. And of course, locking on a full lean angle is never a good thing. So in situations where you want to be trail braking in, perfect example here is into Pacine, we are going to still trail brake to the middle of the corner, release the brakes and start bringing on the acceleration. Trail braking is very important, but to do it effectively, you cannot be pressing aggressively on the brakes. Very gentle presses, just a half gradual press will be enough to reduce that understeer and help you turn the bike in. Now then guys, I do feel like I've given you everything I can possibly give you to improve here in MotoGP 23. One thing I will tell you is to be patient, to practice and put the time in to learn. This is not an easy fix. There is no secret ingredient to make you the best player in the world. Unfortunately, it is going to take time. But guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video and I really hope you found it helpful. If you have and you did enjoy, let me know in the comment section down below. Also consider hitting the like button and subscribe as well, because I've got a lot more guides on the channel ready to make and also already available for you to watch. So if you're looking for specific tracks, check out my MotoGP Academy guide, but if you're looking for more controller overlays in the future, just let me know and I'll be happy to oblige. But guys, thanks for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.